Welcome back on the CU Sports Network, getting ready for Cornerstone men's basketball. Nate Wangler with you. We'll catch up with Jackson Hayden here momentarily, but for the meantime, I have Coach Kim Elders, Hall of Fame head coach, going into his 31st season here at CU, just wrapped up season number 30. Coach, first off, thank you so much for your time, and I know it's been 31 long years now going into season number 31. Does it feel like it's been that long, or does it feel like it's gone by kind of in a flash?
In some regards, it's been that long, but it really has gone by in a flash. It's been a terrific ride, and God has blessed our program. I'm looking forward to the season.
Just overall, you guys this off season getting ready for your first game coming up here shortly. How have things been progressing? How is this team meshing, and what are you looking forward to the most?
This team is meshing very well. I like how we've worked. We've been practicing for a month now. We've worked very hard. I think the cohesion is very good. I think the guys are focused. We felt like we left some things on the table last year and underachieved, and so I think we're looking forward to this year, and I think we got some good pieces that are going to allow us to have a good season.
You got a lot of good pieces back, too. You lost, obviously Carter Knight last year. Trent Summerfield won't be back, but you do have Corey Ainsworth, and you got a lot of the similar faces that you had last season. Anything from last year that you wanted to see corrected coming into this year, and how big is Corey in the center of your offense, too? Because I know you like to have those big guys in the middle between him and obviously Sam Vanderslice behind him. This offense really revolves around kind of that big. Anything that you want to see maybe a little bit different this time around?
We do run our offense through our post player. We have for years. We've had terrific post players and All-Americans, and Corey's that guy for us, and we do want to run everything through him. So, I think for us, he's going to get a lot of attention, so we've got to knock some shots down on the perimeter. I think that's huge. But I think we got some guys that can shoot it better this year, and I think that it's going to be a little tougher for us to be guarded simply because I think we're going to be able to shoot from the perimeter a lot better.
Do you feel like you have a healthy amount of guys that can hit from the outside, good amount of shooters? I know you've had some pretty good shooters that have come through the program, but do you feel like you're pretty deep in that area?
Well, I think we're better. I don't know how deep we are, but I think we can surround Corey with a few more shooters than we had last year. And, Eli Steffen is our point guard, and he makes us go, and I think he's developed his three-point shot a lot better. Luke Rollinson, obviously, is one of the best shooters in the country, and he's going to get his shots off. But we brought in Caden Bird from North Point right across the street, who's a great shooter, and he's probably going to see some minutes as a freshman. So I think we're going to be able to put more shooters around Corey on the court at times than we did last year.
This conference in general, I feel like, has really caught up in terms of the talent, around, and, a lot of good teams that have given you some good fights. You guys were picked fourth in the preseason poll. It's been a few years since you guys have won the tournament title. The last regular season title was in 2019. What in your mind do you guys have to do to get back to the top of the heap?
Well, you're right. Everyone else is up their program immensely, and the conference is tougher than it used to be, and from top to bottom, it's just tough to get through that. But the upper teams are, there's a lot more of the upper echelon teams that we have to go against. It's every game's going to be a battle in the WAC, and we're picked fourth, and maybe that's where we should be. But I think we got some things to prove, and I think the guys are taking that personal, and so we just got to get better in everything. I think mental toughness and physical toughness are two things we've talked a lot about this year, and I think we lacked maybe those two things last year a little bit.
You've mentioned a couple of different players. One of the guys that I think everyone's excited to see back, Jack Joldersma, back with you guys again. He was injured for a good part of last year. Now he's back and healthy again. What are your expectations for him, athletically speaking? I think he's someone that could certainly help out, but what have been your impressions of his offseason work so far?
He's come a long way. He's still not 100%. I don't think he ever will. That was quite an injury that he sustained. And but he's back, and he's one of our key players. You're just not going to see that explosiveness. I don't think he ever will, because he was a unique player, and there wasn't a lot of players like him around the country, to be honest with you. But he's developed his game and tweaked it, and he's just a key piece for us, and he's a lot stronger. But he's still athletic, but not like he used to be, and he's going to have a great season.
You think part of that injury maybe is the mental side of it too, after going through something like that?
A little bit, but the ankle just is not allowing him to jump like he used to and have that explosiveness. And like I said, I don't know if he'll ever get it back, but he's still athletic, more athletic than a lot of players. He's just going to have to tweak his game a little bit, and he has, and he's going to be a key piece for us.
Just as an overall thing, just ask the other coach, Coach Yonkers, about this, but the game has changed a lot since you first got involved. Going into season number 31, we could talk about basketball in the 90s. It was almost a different product altogether. How have you been able to adjust as a head coach to some of the big changes, and what are some of the big changes that you've seen over that stretch of time?
There has been changes, but I don't know if we've tweaked ours that much. We still run our offense through the post player and try to surround it with good shooters. And defensively, we're going to get after you man-to-man. The game is, I think maybe more athletic. It's more of a perimeter game than it used to be. So having that 5-man that we've been able to get, for many, many years that can play with us back to the basket is always key for us. But, it's more of a shooting game. The bigs are out, stepping out and shooting the three now. So defensively, you got to go out and guard. A 5-man might go out and shoot on the perimeter, which you didn't see in the past. So other than that, I think the game is pretty much the same as it's been in my 31 years.
Recruiting is also a big part of this program, and a lot of the local connections have kind of fed the program over the years. How have you been able to maintain consistency in that way and still find the guys that you need?
Well, I think, a lot of these kids are right in our neighborhood and in our backyard, and they know about us. Some have come through our camps, and so it's easy to connect with them, and I think they know what product we have and, what history we've had. So that's allowed us to get a lot of these local kids. We might not be getting quite as many as we had in the past. Some of our players are coming from out of state now, which is fine, but, there's such great talent in our backyard, and we still got to get those players, and we are getting quite a few of them, but we are reaching out a little bit further, Australia, Costa Rica.
Right. It's way out there.
Ohio, Indiana. So our roster has foreigners, so to speak, from the non-Michigan products more than we've ever had before.
So, obviously we talked about the importance of conference play and just how much, the talent level has really risen. But before you guys get there, obviously you have your non-conference schedule coming up here really shortly to get you ready. What are your expectations coming out of all that? What do you want to see from this group in those games before we get into WAC play?
Go out there and put a good product on the floor. We've worked so hard for the last month. We've worked hard in the off season. It's going to be a great test this weekend with Spring Arbor and Indiana Wesleyan, always one of the top teams in the country. So it'll be a good bookmark for us to see where we're at. But yeah, I'm just looking to see what things we got to work on and get better at, because you don't see that when you're playing yourself every day in practice. So this should be a good test for us this weekend and tell us a lot.
Thanks a lot for your time, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back on the Cornerstone Sports Network.